Hello dear friends and welcome. It's always a joy to connect with you. Many of us, as we enter our golden years, find immense pleasure and satisfaction in gardening. There's something truly magical about nurturing a plant from a tiny seed, watching it grow, and perhaps even harvesting its fruits or admiring its beautiful blooms. Gardening connects us to the earth, provides gentle exercise, and can be a wonderful source of peace and accomplishment. It's a hobby that feeds both the body and the soul. I was recently chatting with a neighbor. Let's call her Margaret. Margaret is a spry 78-year-old, and her garden has always been the pride of the neighborhood. Vibrant roses, plump tomatoes, fragrant herbs. She's been an avid gardener her whole life. But last spring, while reaching to prune a slightly overgrown shrub, she lost her footing on a patch of uneven ground and took a nasty tumble. Thankfully, she wasn't critically injured, but she did suffer a painful sprained wrist and a significant blow to her confidence. It was a stark reminder for her, and for all of us who care about her, that even activities we love and have done for years can present new challenges and risks as our bodies change with age. Margaret's experience isn't unique, and it brings us to an important, though sometimes sensitive topic. While gardening offers so many wonderful benefits for those of us who are 75 and older, it's crucial to approach this beloved activity with a heightened sense of awareness and caution. Our bodies, while still capable of amazing things, may not have the same resilience, balance, or strength they once did. Today, we're going to gently explore some of the potential risks associated with gardening for seniors over 75. Our aim is not to discourage you from enjoying the connection with nature, but to help you identify these risks so you can make informed choices. And importantly, we'll also look at some wonderful, safer alternatives that allow you to continue to cultivate your green thumb and enjoy the joys of plants without putting your well-being at unnecessary risk. So let's dig in with care and understanding. Let's talk about these 6 significant risks that, while perhaps not always at the forefront of our minds when we're eager to get our hands in the soil, are important for seniors over 75 to consider. Awareness is the first step to prevention. First, and perhaps most significantly, is the risk of falls, our fragile defense line. As we age, our bodies naturally undergo changes. Our balance might not be as sharp as it once was, our muscle strength may have diminished, and our reaction times can slow down. These age-related changes make seniors, particularly those over 75, more susceptible to falls. Gardening, as wonderful as it is, often involves a lot of movements that can challenge our stability. Bending over to weed or plant, squatting down to tend to low-growing flowers, reaching up to prune taller shrubs, and then straightening back up. Each of these transitions can be a moment where balance is momentarily compromised. Add to this the nature of many garden environments. The ground can be uneven, with hidden roots, rocks, or soft patches of soil. Garden paths might be slick with morning dew or loose gravel. Tools like hoses or rakes, if not carefully stowed, can become tripping hazards. Even a slight misstep on an uneven surface can lead to a fall. And for seniors, a fall is not just a minor mishap. It can have devastating consequences. A fall can easily result in broken bones, a fractured hip, wrist, or vertebra, which can lead to long recovery times, loss of independence, hospitalization, and a significant decline in overall health and mobility. Even if a fall doesn't cause a fracture, it can result in severe bruising, sprains, head injuries, and perhaps most insidiously, a fear of falling again, which can lead to reduced activity and social isolation. So, that simple act of reaching for a weed or navigating a slightly sloped garden bed carries a heightened risk that we must acknowledge and respect. Our second concern is the risk of overexertion, the body's warning siren. Gardening can be surprisingly strenuous work. Tasks like digging in compacted soil, turning compost, lifting bags of mulch or soil, pushing a heavy wheelbarrow, or even repetitive weeding can demand a significant amount of physical effort. While this kind of activity can be beneficial in moderation for seniors over 75, the body's stamina and ability to recover from physical exertion are generally reduced. What might have been a manageable task a few years ago can now lead to overexertion much more quickly. When we overexert ourselves, we put a strain on our cardiovascular system. This can be particularly dangerous for seniors who may have underlying heart conditions, whether diagnosed or undiagnosed. Overdoing it in the garden can potentially trigger chest pain, angina, an irregular heartbeat, or in severe cases, even a heart attack. Beyond cardiac concerns, overexertion can lead to muscle strains, joint pain, especially in the back, knees, and shoulders, and profound fatigue that can last for days. Our bodies just don't bounce back as quickly as they used to. It's easy to get caught up in the enjoyment of gardening and lose track of time, or push ourselves too hard, wanting to finish just one more row or lift just one more bag. But our bodies have their limits, and for seniors, these limits need to be respected to avoid turning a pleasurable activity into a health crisis. Listening to those internal warning signs, feeling overly tired, short of breath, or experiencing pain, is absolutely crucial. Third, we must consider the risk of heat stroke or heat exhaustion, the summer scourge. Many of us love to garden during the warmer months, when the sun is shining and plants are thriving. However, seniors are particularly vulnerable to heat-related illnesses. Our body's ability to regulate its internal temperature becomes less efficient with age. We may not sweat as effectively, and our perception of thirst might be diminished, meaning we can become dehydrated more easily without realizing it. Gardening often involves being outdoors for extended periods, directly exposed to the sun, especially during peak heat hours. If a senior is engrossed in their gardening tasks on a hot, humid day and isn't taking adequate precautions, like drinking enough water, wearing light and protective clothing, taking frequent breaks in the shade, and avoiding the hottest parts of the day, they can quickly succumb to heat exhaustion. Symptoms of heat exhaustion include heavy sweating, weakness, dizziness, nausea, headache, and a rapid pulse. If heat exhaustion isn't addressed promptly by moving to a cool place and rehydrating, it can rapidly progress to heat stroke, which is a life-threatening medical emergency. Heat stroke occurs when the body's temperature rises to dangerous levels, typically 104 degrees or 40 degrees or higher. Symptoms include a high body temperature, hot and dry skin or profuse sweating, confusion, agitation, slurred speech, loss of consciousness, and seizures. Heat stroke requires immediate emergency medical attention as it can cause damage to the brain, heart, kidneys, and muscles, and can be fatal. That peaceful afternoon in the garden can turn perilous very quickly if we don't respect the power of the summer sun and our body's changing ability to cope with it. Fourth is the risk of injury from tools, the hidden threat in our hands. Gardening requires the use of various tools, many of which can be sharp or have moving parts. Think about pruning shears, loppers, secateurs, hand trowels, spades, rakes, and even power tools like hedge trimmers or lawn mowers. While these tools are essential for garden tasks, they also carry an inherent risk of injury, especially for seniors. As we age, our manual dexterity, hand-eye coordination, and grip strength may decline. Our reaction times might be slower. These changes can make it more challenging to handle tools safely and precisely. A slip of the hand while using sharp pruning shears can easily lead to a deep cut. A trowel or spade could cause a puncture wound if not handled carefully. Seniors might also find it harder to maintain a firm grip on tools, increasing the risk of them slipping or being dropped, potentially onto feet or legs. Furthermore, if tools are not well maintained, e.g. rusty or dull, they might require more force to use, which can lead to sudden slips or loss of control when the tool finally gives way or cuts through. Eyesight changes can also play a role. It might be harder to judge distances accurately or to see clearly where a sharp blade is positioned. Even something as simple as tripping over a tool left on the ground can cause a fall leading to further injury. These potential accidents, ranging from minor cuts and scrapes to more serious lacerations or puncture wounds, can be more problematic for seniors due to slower healing and an increased risk of infection. Fifth, we have the risk of exposure to harmful chemicals, the invisible danger. To keep gardens looking their best and free from pests and diseases, many gardeners turn to products like fertilizers, pesticides, herbicides, weed killers, and fungicides. While these products can be effective, many of them contain chemicals that can be harmful to human health, and seniors may be particularly vulnerable to their effects. Our skin can become thinner and more absorbent as we age, meaning that chemicals from these products can be more easily absorbed into the bloodstream if they come into contact with the skin, for example, while spraying or handling treated plants. Inhalation of sprays or dusts from these products can irritate the respiratory system and trigger asthma or other breathing problems. Accidental ingestion, perhaps from unwashed hands touching the mouth or from produce that hasn't been thoroughly washed after treatment, can lead to poisoning. The symptoms of chemical exposure can vary widely depending on the substance and the level of exposure, but they can include skin rashes or burns, eye irritation, nausea, vomiting, dizziness, headaches, respiratory distress, and in severe cases of poisoning, more serious systemic effects. Long-term low-level exposure to some pesticides has also been linked to an increased risk of certain neurological problems or cancers, although this is an area of ongoing research. Even organic or natural pesticides can sometimes cause irritation or allergic reactions in sensitive individuals. It's crucial to read labels carefully, use protective gear like gloves and masks if spraying, and consider less toxic alternatives whenever possible to minimize this invisible chemical hazard. And sixth, a risk that might not immediately come to mind, is the risk of accidental ingestion of toxic plants or plant parts, the unforeseen peril. Gardens are filled with a beautiful array of plants, but it's important to remember that not everything that looks attractive or even berry-like is safe to eat. Many common ornamental plants, and even some parts of edible plants, like rhubarb leaves, can be toxic if ingested. Seniors, particularly those who might be experiencing some cognitive decline, memory issues, or changes in their sense of taste or smell, could be at an increased risk of accidental ingestion. They might mistake a toxic berry for an edible one, or be tempted to taste an unfamiliar plant part out of curiosity. Young grandchildren visiting the garden could also be at risk if not closely supervised. The symptoms of plant poisoning can range from mild, like an upset stomach or mouth irritation, to very severe, such as difficulty breathing, heart problems, seizures, or even death, depending on the plant, the part ingested, and the amount consumed. It's essential for anyone maintaining a garden, especially where seniors or young children might be present, to be aware of which plants in their garden are toxic, to label them if necessary, and to educate everyone about not eating anything from the garden unless it's positively identified as safe and edible. This unknown danger requires vigilance and education to prevent a potentially tragic mistake. Now, hearing about all these potential risks might feel a bit disheartening, especially if gardening is a cherished passion. But please remember, our goal isn't to take away the joy of connecting with plants and nature. It's about finding safer, more comfortable ways to continue enjoying that connection as we age. The good news is that there are many wonderful and fulfilling alternatives to traditional, strenuous gardening that minimize these risks while still allowing you to nurture your green thumb. Let's explore some of these safer alternatives that can keep the joy of gardening alive and well in your senior years. First, consider indoor plant care, a touch of greenery within reach. Bringing the garden indoors can be a fantastic option. Caring for houseplants offers many of the same rewards as outdoor gardening, the satisfaction of nurturing growth, the beauty of living greenery, but in a much more controlled and accessible environment. You can choose from a vast array of easy-to-care-for indoor plants, such as succulents, peace lilies, snake plants, pothos, or spider plants. These can be placed on windowsills, tables, or shelves, eliminating the need for bending, squatting, or navigating uneven outdoor terrain. Watering can be done with a small watering can, and tasks like dusting leaves or occasional repotting are generally light and manageable. Indoor plants not only beautify your living space, but can also help purify the air and boost your mood. It's a wonderful way to maintain a connection with nature without the physical demands and risks of outdoor gardening. Second, how about balcony or patio gardening? Your garden just steps away. If you have a balcony, patio, or even a small level outdoor space, container gardening can be an excellent alternative. Planting flowers, herbs, or even small vegetables in pots, window boxes, or raised planters can create a beautiful and productive mini garden that's much easier to manage. Raised planters are particularly good as they bring the soil level up, significantly reducing the need for bending and stooping. You can choose lightweight pots and potting mix. Watering can be done easily, and tasks like fertilizing or weeding are much less strenuous in containers. You can enjoy the fresh air and sunshine in a safe, contained space. Imagine stepping out onto your balcony to pick fresh herbs or admire colorful flowers you've grown yourself, all without the risks of a larger garden. Third, think about participating in gardening appreciation activities, the joy of observation. If the physical act of gardening has become too challenging or risky, you can still indulge your love for plants and gardens by becoming an appreciative observer. Visit local botanical gardens, arboretums, public parks, or community gardens. Many places offer guided tours, sometimes with accessibility options. Attend flower shows or garden festivals. This allows you to immerse yourself in the beauty of the plant world without physical exertion. You can take photographs, sketch, or simply sit and enjoy the peaceful ambience. It's a wonderful way to stay connected and appreciate the artistry of others. And fourth, explore online gardening communities and learning. A feast of knowledge from your armchair. The digital world offers fantastic opportunities to engage with gardening from home. There are countless online gardening forums, Facebook groups, and websites to connect with enthusiasts, share experiences, and learn. Watch gardening tutorials on YouTube, take online courses, or read gardening blogs. This keeps your passion alive and provides social outlet and continuous learning. You can plan your dream garden or troubleshoot issues with indoor plants, all while staying safe. It's a way to remain an active member of the gardening community. By embracing these safer alternatives, or by thoughtfully modifying your existing gardening practices, using ergonomic tools, raised beds, asking for help, prioritizing safety, you can continue to experience the profound joy and therapeutic benefits that plants bring to our lives well into your senior years. So, as we bring our conversation to a close, let's remember the key message. Gardening is a wonderful, life-enriching activity. But as we reach 75 and beyond, it's essential to approach it with wisdom and a clear understanding of the potential risks. We've discussed 6 significant hazards: falls, overexertion, heat-related illness, tool injuries, chemical exposure, and accidental ingestion of toxic plants. Acknowledging these doesn't mean we have to give up our love for greenery. Instead, it empowers us to make safer choices. We've explored several wonderful alternatives, from the gentle care of indoor plants and the convenience of balcony gardening to the appreciative joy of visiting botanical gardens and the engaging world of online horticultural communities. These options allow us to continue cultivating our connection with the plant world, to experience the satisfaction of nurturing growth, and to enjoy the beauty of nature in ways that are safe, accessible, and fulfilling.